Shalom, Yasharel. Giving a shout out to all the Hebrews scattered to the four corners, and giving all praises and glory to the great I am. Why do you call yourselves African Americans? You know, people still coin that term even to this day. And that's the term that our people love to go by. Oh, I'm an African American. I'm an African American. Well, what is an African American? We're the only race of people on the planet that classifies as African American. Now, all these other races of people that came over here after us, they don't coin themselves as Asian American. You don't hear people saying Korean American. You don't see people saying Mexican American, European American, because they did come from Europe. All the other races that are in the U.S. do not go by where they're from and with America tied to it. They're just known as Americans. But yet we're the only ones that are classified as so-called African Americans. Now, where did this origin come from, and who was responsible for this? Well, there's several answers to that question. First off, it was Jesse Jackson, along with some other black leaders, that imposed that we be called African Americans. And secondly, we know for sure that the white liberals were really behind this. And you got to ask yourself the question, all right, what was the purpose of us being coined as African Americans when no one else uses that term, not even where they're from and then with America tied to it? Well, you know that this has always been an agenda to really hide our true identity. I mean, think about it, Yasharel. If they can get you to think and believe that you're an African American and that your history goes no further than slavery, no further back than slavery, and that you were just some wild people running around naked, swinging on vines and running around with spears and drinking blood, they got you already. They got you food. And this is why today our people are struggling with a severe identity crisis. And you ever talk to our people and you ever notice that when you talk about their history or you ask them, hey, where do you come from? I mean, you know your seed line. The first thing that they would claim is Native American. You notice that? They'll say that. Or they'll say that, my family members are from Irish or from India. You know, I even heard a brother say that he was European descent and just as black as I am. You see where I'm going with this? You see why our people are struggling right now on who they are as a people? Because everything that we had was lost and stolen and forgotten. And for that reason, our people identify with everything else except for who they are and their bloodline descendants. And the Willie Lynch letter is still alive unto this very day. And if you have not read Willie Lynch, Making of a Slave, then you need to read that. But I'm assuming that everybody who's listening to this podcast has at least read this book or heard it on an audio before. Now, I will tell you what the elites and the powers that be will not tell you. I will tell you what they would not tell you in the schools, the churches, place of business, or anywhere. They will not tell you who you are and where you come from. That you come from a line of ancient Hebrew Israelites. They will not tell you that. That is something that you're going to end up stumbling on. And this is why the spirit, the Ruach, is leading. Because remember, the scripture says that the Ruach will lead. All right. And it is the Ruach that will begin to wake our people up. Those that only hear, that is. But they will not tell you who we are as a people because they know where we come from. We're the ones who don't know. We're the ones who are still caught up in all of America's glory and folly. We're the ones that are caught up in the so-called American dream. Yeah, you became that dream. You became the liquid money so that others could benefit off you. We're the ones who are caught up in all the holidays, thinking that if we can just do everything that our enemies do, they will accept us some kind of way. Yeah, Yasharel, keep dreaming. Ecclesiasticus says it best, or the book of Sirach, chapter 12, verses 10 through 12. It says, never trust your enemy, for like as iron rust, so is his wickedness. Though he humbles himself and goes crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and you shall be unto him as if you had wiped a looking glass, and you shall know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by you, lest when he has overthrown you, he stand up in your place. Neither let him sit at your right hand, lest he seek to take your seat. And you at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Yasharel, but no matter how much of an American you try to be, no matter how much you try to please your enemies, you would never be looked at as an American. A true American, as they say, is white America. You would never be looked at as an American. You can act like them. You can speak like them. You can celebrate all their holidays. You can do everything that they do. You can be the most intelligent person on the face of this earth. You can work your butt off. Doesn't matter how hard you work. You can be the hardest working person on the planet, on this earth. All right. But you would never, ever be looked at as one of them or as an American. See, there's a reason why they call us African American. Even the scripture says that we will be bywords, proverbs, and bywords. And, we fit the description to a T. So here's my question to you, Yasharel. You've been here all this time now. All you are different ages. If you're 50 and over, you've been here for half a century. All right. All this time that you've been here and all the stuff that we've been through as a people, all the stuff that we've seen happen to our people, but yet our people still engrave themselves heavily on their enemies. It's like our people are waiting for something. It's like they're waiting that little hope that our enemies are going to just give them a morsel of something. You've been sitting around waiting for all these years for some reparations. You've been sitting around waiting and hoping that these people are going to all of a sudden be nice to you. Look around you. They are replacing you by the thousands. They're constantly replacing you. That's the agenda. There ain't going to be no apologies. There's not going to be no reparations. There's not going to be no consolidations or nothing. They know who we are. Their purpose is to try to play out Psalms 83. They are confederate against us, and their mission is to wipe us completely off the face of the earth. Now, we know that that's not going to happen. We know that the Most High is going to have a remnant. All right. That's a no-brainer. Most of you who listen to this know the scriptures pretty well. All right. And know enough to know who you are and to defend yourself with the scriptures. I mean, we get it. The righteous few elect get it, but the majority of our people don't. And that's where you got to come to the reality of is realizing that majority of our people don't got it. They don't see it. They can't see it because when you're so deluded into this system and you've been going by this term African American for so long and you can't even identify with anything. You identify with everything else except for who you are. That's an issue. That's a major problem. So that just tells me you don't know who the hell you are. I mean, bottom line. If you're talking about you got a so-called black dad and a black mom, and you're talking about you're Native American, you're talking about your bloodline goes back to Irish, and you're talking about your bloodline goes back to India and to anywhere else, then the enemy has got you trapped. You're trapped and you're going to believe anything they want you to believe. And this is why our people will remain divided. You ever notice that? I mean, it's a no-brainer. We're the only people on this earth that are so divided. Even the other races stick together. They might not even like one another. They stick together. Even white people, they don't like one another, but they stick together. When it comes to helping their own people, they're going to make sure that their own people are taken care of. When it comes to us, we don't do that. It's always some jealousy. It's always some envying. It's always some hatred. I mean, they've done a job on our people where they've gotten us to the point where we hate our people so much. You know, the women and the men are at war together. I mean, this is all kinds of stuff. We can't even act like a team. We can't even act like a team, let alone be a team. The Almighty Yahuah said that we are a holy people above all nations. Now, why can we not accept that? For you are a holy people unto Yahuah. Yahuah has chosen you to be a special people unto himself, above all people. Now, notice it said above all people. It didn't say equal to people. So why are we going around trying to be equal? Why are we going around trying to fight for equal rights? We're not equal. We are above all the nations. And that's what it says right here. I'll read that again. For you are a holy people unto Yahuah. Yahuah has chosen you to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. A special people. That means set apart. So why are you wasting your time trying to fit in this American culture, this society, when you're not accepted? You haven't been accepted ever since we came over here on these ships. You have not been looked at as an American. You were considered a fifth of a person, and that still stands today. It's just subliminal. I guarantee you, every person, especially within the U.S. and even on this earth, when they see you, an Israelite, they look at you as a slave, as a lesser of a person. And this is why when you look at like certain areas, you know, where our people scattered to in the U.S., you know, when they were migrating from the South, once they went into a particular area, you know, and then once we reached a certain percent, you know, there was white flight, you know, the value of the neighborhood started going down, and all the white folks, they had to get on out of there because they didn't want to be around that. One example was Compton, LA. Now, look up the history of Compton. Compton was not named after a so-called black person. It was named after a white person, Compton. And so before what was going on in the South, prior to that, Compton was an all-white town, right? There were no so-called blacks there at all until our people started migrating there. So what happened? They looked at it as a threat. They started, because, we're aggressive when it comes to getting things and progressing. We are very aggressive. So, hey, in their eyes, that's competition. They're not going to let that happen. So a lot of the stuff that was going on in the South started happening, in Compton and other areas. So go figure. So that tells you, what kind of people we are, because we are so resilient. You look at Black Wall Street, same example. If we put our minds and heads together, we can do great things, especially if we come together to keep the commandments. of the Most High. And this is what this fight is all about. And this is what I've been trying to tell you. Many other brothers have been trying to tell you that, hey, we got to get back to these laws, commandments, and statutes. Because if you're not careful and you're looking around, you look at all the jobs. Look at what's being replaced right now. AI is taking a lot of the jobs that so-called Israel is working. All right, that's your warehouse jobs, telemarketing jobs, food service jobs, whether it be a fast food joint, restaurants, whatever, and these jobs where majority of Israel works, those are the jobs that are being either replaced by AI or being replaced by immigrants. All right, y'all better wake up. Y'all better wake up, because I'm seeing our people are disappearing by the thousands. Like, it's like I don't even know where they're going. We're like, what's happening? What's going on? And yeah, and this should be a wake up call. But yet our people are sitting around with a little morsel of hope, thinking that these people are going to throw out some crumbs to us. Look around. You've been here all this time. They ain't gave you nothing. But yet, in the 3 years that these immigrants has been coming over here, they've gotten like $500 credit cards that they can spend freely, free medical, housing, food. And I'm talking about some good quality stuff. All right. So the scriptures are being played out as we speak, where it says in Deuteronomy 28 that the stranger shall get above thee very high, and you shall become very low. That mark has hit its place. And if we don't wake up soon, fast, in a hurry, and get back to these laws, commandments, and statutes, we are going to be destroyed as a people, completely replaced and destroyed. When the scripture says only a remnant is going to be left, I mean, I'm telling you, only a remnant is going to be left. Because we're destroying our seeds in several ways. One, of course, the most obvious is intermarrying with the heathens. And then, you got our people who just don't get along. The men are at war with the women are at war with the men. And so now it's like nobody wants to come together as a team. 76% of households are run by women. So the these boys are growing up effeminate, emotional. A lot of them are turning to homosexuals, and same with the girls. They're becoming lesbians. We're dying quicker than our enemies, health-wise. I mean, it's bad, y'all. It's crazy. And you can look at the stats, but we're falling behind the curve. Why? Because we refuse to return to the Almighty Yahuah and keep His laws, commandments, and statutes. So therefore, as it says in Deuteronomy 28, He says that the Most High, He says that I will rejoice over you. As I rejoice to do you good, I will rejoice over you to destroy you. So the Most High is not playing, Yasharel. It's either time to wake up or die. Wake up, keep the commandments, or just die. And that's what's happening to our people. And it's a very sad sight that our people don't see this. Even an ox knows his owner, but Israel does not know. They do not even consider. That means our people don't even care. They can care less. So you know what? Things have to bleed out. Many of our people have to bleed out. And only those who hears the voice of the Most High will be saved. They will wake up and keep the commandments. Don't get it twisted. There are people that are waking up. Some of our people are waking up, but it's the ones that the Most High is calling to wake up. And I guarantee you, it's not a lot. It's not a lot. So with that being said, I really pray that this pricks your heart, that you wake up and see what's really going on around you. Our enemies are out to destroy us. And again, unless we wake up, come back to these laws, commandments, and statutes, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So with that being said, the Most High's will, I'll be back soon. And I say shalom and stay strong, Yasharel.